And I'm looking at some pretty foil in the ceiling. Is that for light reflection, or is that just?
Well, yeah, it can definitely help with light reflection, but in this case, no, we're using it for insulation for our radiant floor system. So inside those joist cavities, we've got all this PEX tubing.
Yep.
And that tubing runs in different circuits, loops around the floor. We come back in and insulate it. Also, it kind of retains that heat inside the cavity and drives it up through the floor. There's also aluminum tracks that are intended to deflect heat up into the floor. Okay. So it's another part of the process. That's what actually holds the tubing in place as well.
And they're right up against the bottom of the floor.
Yeah, they're at the bottom of the floor.
I think
so it'll transfer heat from the PEX to the aluminum, and then aluminum to the floor.
So that's nice. Yeah. So how do you go about figuring out how to run this and how much and what?
So it gets a little complicated.
Yeah, here
you can see there's a lot of tubing. I mean, there's thousands of feet of tubing that run through the floor joists, and all that tubing can only be so long.
Okay.
The length of the tubing has to really kind of match each other. So we do use.
You can't just throw it up in there.
And we do use a computer software that we can go in and we can draw the layout, draw the floor plan, kind of draw how we want it zoned, and then the computer will go and figure out, okay, what's the best pathway for the tubing. So there's a lot of planning that goes into doing this. You can't just start running tubing everywhere.
That was my point.
The system has to be balanced, and in order for it to be balanced, the length of this tubing is important. Because we're only using one pump to drive it. So part of that is, the length of the house. We got to start dividing things up into circuits, and the easiest way that we found to do that is by using manifolds. Remote locations. So we use manifolds in remote locations. Then we can use a larger pipe to send that water back to our boiler. These are Uponor manifolds, stainless steel, very high end. They come with nice flow gauges on them, so we can tell exactly where is each circuit balanced. So that's the manifolds. These all pipe back to our boiler room. That's where things get even more complicated to some degree.
Yeah,
but we can take a look at that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's cool stuff, man. Yeah, in here.